Roy Smith is our corn and soybean market analyst this week. The USDA Monday released its numbers on quarterly grain stocks and 2014 planted acreage. The agency is estimating U.S. farmers planted 91.6 million acres of corn and 84.8 million acres of soybeans. The amount of soybean acres is far and away a record. The previous high was set in 2009 at 77.5 million acres. Nebraska is expected to increase its share by 600,000 acres. In fact, Oklahoma is the only state expected to actually lower its soybean plantings. The USDA totaled corn stocks in all positions at 3.85 billion bushels and soybean stocks at 405 million bushels. Both markets reacted unfavorably after the release. We started our interview with Roy Wednesday afternoon by asking for an update on crop conditions in his area of southeast Nebraska.
Right here in Cass County, they look very good. We've had some rain, but not an excessive amount of rain, and cool weather once in a while, so things really look about as good as we could hope for.
What was your reaction to the USDA numbers on Monday? Certainly the markets didn't like them very much.
That wasn't as good as the weather, I'll say that. My reaction, we saw quite an increase in soybean plantings, and I think that, to me, that wasn't a surprise. I think most farmers probably, if the truth were known, they probably would say that they kind of expected that too. And so, but the trade was long soybeans, they were long corn, and we saw that big number come out, 2 million bushels more than what the trade was anticipating, and so the market went down.
Your philosophy is to be out of cash corn by July 1st. Was that hard to do with the current price levels?
Well, you know, trucks have wheels and augers have the ability to move corn, so, but yeah, psychologically it was kind of tough to do. You know, in the back of my mind, I know that that's something I have to do every year, is clean the bins out before the 1st of July, and I got that done with a couple days to spare, and this week, looking back on that, it was certainly a good decision, because we're about 30 cents a bushel under where we were last week at this time.
Where are you on your speculation accounts? You wrote a little bit about this for agriculture.com. How did you feel going into the reports, and how did you come out of it?
Well, in terms of the speculative account, I have certain rules that I follow, and when those rules are met, the transaction is made. And I try not to ever be optimistic or pessimistic, either one, but you look at the calendar and it says sell beans on the 20th of June, and so I sold beans on the 20th of June, and today that looks really, really good.
Were there any positive numbers that you saw in either of the USDA reports?
I'd say there were some numbers that weren't as negative as what 70-cent soybean price drop would be. The planting intentions for soybeans was very large and negative. However, the stocks of soybeans is still very tight. Corn is kind of the other way around. There's plenty of corn around, but the planting intentions for corn actually went down a little bit. Not very much, but they at least they didn't go up. And if the planting intentions for corn would have gone up, then that would have been extremely negative too, because we've been trading a big corn crop now for, gosh, over a year, I think. And so, you know, you look at all of those numbers, and some positive and some negative. On the whole, they were negative, but we've got a lot of summer left too, and I frankly don't expect the crop to look this good all summer. You know, hope it does, but you don't want to expect that.
Well, we were trading pretty high in the soybean market as well, and finally it broke, but could it maybe gain some ground back in the other direction?
Well, I would think at some point it will. You know, we may have to go down quite a while. I mean, it's still the next really landmark seasonal trend is the September crop report. There's another report coming out before that, but the one that's really important is September, and the trade has a tendency to go up before the report and down after the report, just like this one that we had. So you know, there's time for I guess if you look at the long-term seasonal price trends, normally there'll be one big rally sometime between now and the 10th of September. When it's going to come is anybody's guess. You know, there could be a frost in North Dakota or something like that. I don't think we're going to have drought in the near future, but some minor appearing but major, in fact, of the effect on the crop to cause a rally of 50 cents or $1 or who knows. You know, I don't know what the number is, but a lot of times you'll see that just for no apparent reason, and then the market goes up and then it goes back down. And for people that are still sitting on crops that need to be sold, that's when you want to be ready to pull the trigger and don't get caught with last year's crop in this year's bins.
The July crop report is scheduled for release Friday, July 11th at 11 a.m. Central Time.